Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala wa ba'd. Respected brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. One of the very important relationships, generally and specifically in Islam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His beloved Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam has placed a lot of importance upon, is the relationship of the spouses, the relationship of the husband and the wife, the marital relationship. Many verses of the Quran, Allah talks about the importance of and the significance of the marital relationship. If the marital relationship, if the family relationship is good and sound and solid, then that helps contribute to a good upbringing of the children, the extended family, and it helps create a positive society and community around us. But if there are problems within the marriage, if there are problems within a couple, if there are problems at home, it affects the children negatively, and then it affects the extended family and the community at large, and it creates problems within society. And this is why Islam has placed a lot of emphasis on ensuring to protect the family, the relationship of the couple, the marital relationship. Allah says in the Quran, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. Allah created from you your spouses. From His signs is that He created from yourselves your spouses, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you find peace and tranquility from your spouse. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُم مَّوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and He created love and mercy and compassion amongst you. But sadly, we are living in a time, brothers and sisters, where this whole marital relationship is threatened. We have so many divorces. The divorce rate, especially in our countries, in our lands, the divorce rate as compared to the previous times has really shot up. Marital problems, constantly the imams, the scholars, people are faced with lots of people in the community who come and complain about marital problems. And there are a lot of reasons why we have these marital problems. I mean, we can go through a list of things that contribute to the marital problems and addressing marriage problems. But in a nutshell, one of the main reasons why we have these problems in marriage is that we live in a time where the gender roles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has assigned to both the men and the women, they are being confused. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of the man, He is the creator of the woman, He is the creator of the male, He is the creator of the female. He has created the man with certain strengths and certain weaknesses, and He has created the woman with certain strengths and certain weaknesses. These two genders have been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to complement one another, not compete with one another. It's supposed to be a perfect match. Man is masculine, he plays the role of the man, he is masculine. This is the gender role of the man. The woman plays the role of being a woman, she is feminine, and she has her traits, her character traits. A male has his character traits. The man is supposed to be a man, the woman is supposed to be a woman, and this is why men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Men and women are different. There is equality in Islam. Islam talks about men and women, that they are absolutely equal, but they are not similar. These are two different things. Equality and similarity are two different things. Men and women are equal. There is equality in Islam, but that doesn't mean they are similar. Men are different from women. Women are different from men. There are major differences between the two genders, psychologically, physically, emotionally, from different angles. And this is why men and women, marital couples, they need to understand and realize, and maybe before marriage, learn about the differences between the two genders. Learn about the differences between the two genders. Learn about how men are different from women and how women are different from men. And there are numerous hadiths that talk about this. There's a hadith of the Messenger sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam where he talks about how, he talks about a woman, al-mar'atu khuliqat min dhila'in. A woman is created from a rib, which means, and the longer meaning of the hadith is that a man sees a woman different from him, from a different perspective. Which means a woman is different from a man. She is different emotionally, she is more emotional, she is more sensitive, and a man needs to understand that. If a man doesn't understand that a woman is sensitive, she's different from him the way he is, And likewise, a woman doesn't understand that a man is different from her. A man is different in nature from her. If she doesn't understand this, this will create problems. And this is why it's really important that we understand our gender roles. The man is responsible. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله به بعضهم على بعض. The man is the caretaker, the maintainer. He is financially responsible. The nafaqa, financial responsibility, is in the hands of the man. It's his responsibility. Islamically, a woman does not have to spend anything. She doesn't have to work. She can do so if she wants to, but she doesn't have to. She does not have to contribute at all towards the marriage. Even if she has a lot of money, man is the maintainer, the caretaker. قوامون على النساء. And he plays the role of the man. He is responsible. He is the Amir of the household. Allah has deemed and considered and appointed the husband to be the Amir of the household. And the woman is someone who relies on the husband. She is submissive. She is submissive towards her husband. And this is why back in the day, in the olden times, marriages used to survive because the man used to play the role of the man. He used to be the maintainer. He used to be the protector. He used to be the caretaker. He used to be responsible. He used to financially support the woman. The wife, the woman used to rely on the man. She used to be submissive. She used to be feminine. You know, I've said this a few times, that because of this society we live in, the gender roles are being confused. And the man is no longer playing the role of the man. He's no longer masculine as he is supposed to be. You've got a man who is no longer masculine, and you've got a woman or a wife who's no longer feminine. She is partly feminine, partly masculine. You've got a man who's partly masculine and partly feminine. And then you have a marriage. Of course, there are going to be problems. So this is why a man needs to be the Amir of the household. The woman needs to give respect to the man in a sense of considering him to be the Amir of the household, and be submissive towards him, be feminine. And you'll see that the man will be loving and caring, and well, he should be loving, caring. The Messenger ﷺ said, خَيْرُكُمْ لِأَهْلِهِ. The best amongst you, he is addressing the men, the best amongst you is the best amongst you to his wives. The Quran says, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Treat them with goodness, in a right way, in a good way. So this is the responsibility of the man, and the responsibility of the woman is to be feminine. Also, one of the issues that contributes to these marital problems is that we don't take marriage seriously after a few months into the marriage. In the beginning, people take marriage seriously, or they put effort into it, but then after that, people get bored with one another, they don't put the efforts, they get too busy with life, and this is why we have issues and problems in marriages. Islamically, we need to constantly nurture and nourish our marriages. The man needs to nurture the marriage and nourish the marriage. The woman needs to nurture the marriage and nourish the marriage. You know, at times we see that the woman is just at home in her filthy clothes, in her dirty clothes. She doesn't take care of herself. And then the moment she needs to go out, she'll dress up and she'll adorn herself and she'll put perfume on and she'll go outside. Rather, she needs to do all of this for her husband, not for the people outside, not for the non-mahram men outside. Remain clean. The man needs to also remain clean. The man needs to take care of his hygiene and remain neat and clean and tidy, and there's tahara and there's nadafa in Islam, purity and cleanliness and hygiene is a taharatu nisful iman. Purity is half of faith. And likewise the woman as well, at home, if she is going to remain filthy and dirty and not take care of her hygiene, and the man's going to go outside and see other women who might be more appealing, then of course it's going to lead to other things and outside of the marriage, and this will contribute negatively towards the marriage. So this is a really, really important aspect as well of a marital relationship. And also thirdly, these are just certain points that have come to mind. Intimacy is a very important aspect of marriage. I have a book on this topic which I wrote many years ago, Islamic Guide to Sexual Relations, available online. I talked about, how both spouses, the husband and the wife, need to constantly put effort in this aspect of the marriage, in terms of preparation for intimacy. There are so many cases now where after maybe a few months or a year or two, intimacy has died in a marriage. And this is why then problems are created. And then people are looking elsewhere, outside of the marriage, and leads to zina and other, evils, and eventually the breakup of marriage. There are cases, I've come across cases, and I'm sure many imams and other scholars have come across cases where sometimes the husbands are complaining that their wives are not fulfilling their marital intimate rights. And sometimes the wives are complaining that the husband is not fulfilling her intimate marital rights. Once a man and woman get married, then they are duty bound by Islam. This is a contract that they've agreed to fulfill the intimate rights of one another. And for this as well, there needs to be, attention given to it. We need to nurture this intimate aspect of marriage as well. There's a saying in English, they say, a couple happy in bed, happy in marriage. Many problems, many marital disputes, and many divorces actually begin and commence and start and initiate and begin from the bedroom. Sometimes the root cause of a marriage problem or a divorce is actually dissatisfaction in the bedroom. People don't mention that because they feel embarrassed to mention that. Sometimes people in a marriage don't even realize that that's the reason. There are other problems, arguments and fights and disputes, but really that's because, or it's due to the result of dissatisfaction in the intimate aspect of the marriage. And there's a reason why Allah allowed this. This is the only relationship in which this is allowed. And it's a basic need of the human being. And this is when we say وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. I'm not talking about just the actual sexual relations, but the whole package of intimacy, of showing love to one another and compassion to one another, constantly nurturing it and ensuring that anything that is negative to this intimate aspect of marriage is rooted out and taken out. Which means, again, remaining clean, neat and tidy, preparation, there's foreplay, all of this. Marriage requires effort. This is why there is so much reward in a successful marriage, in being married and in living a successful marriage. There are many rewards, and the reason is because it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's difficult, of course. It requires effort, it requires time, it requires attention. So if couples put a lot of attention into their marital relationship, constantly nurturing it, talking to one another, spending time with one another. Another problem of today is that spouses are too busy in their own phones, these smartphones that we have. People are online, and one of the things that really negatively impacts a marital relationship, and not just a marital relationship, even family relationships, relationship between parents and children, between siblings. We have families who live together in a house as strangers. Everybody's on their own phone. They are more happy to talk to people in their phone rather than talk to people at home face to face. Parents don't have time to talk to their children. Children don't have time to talk to their parents. Children are busy with their friends. Parents are busy with their friends. People are on Facebook and Twitter and WhatsApp and social media. And even worse, things like Snapchat and all these other avenues which are basic avenues of zina and fornication. It leads people to zina and fornication. So this is a root cause. And we have a concept in Islam which is saddun lidhari'a or saddu dhari'a, blocking the means to an evil before the evil actually takes place. And this is what Allah said, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Don't even get close to zina. Allah never said, وَلَا تَزْنُوا. Do not commit zina. لَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Don't even get close to zina. Which means that anything and everything that leads a person to zina must be avoided. The means must be blocked. And therefore, really, we need to minimize our time on gadgets. Even within the family with our children, there should at least be one meal that a family takes together where nobody is on their phone. All the gadgets and all the electronics are put away, and a family has a meal together, they converse with one another, they talk with one another, they communicate with one another. Even better to have an hour or 2 hours gadget-free zone at home where the father, the mother, the children, everybody, they put their smartphones away. They put their laptops away or any other electronics or media tool or any gadget. They put it away. Talk to one another, communicate with one another, discuss with one another. And the husband and wife especially, the wife constantly is on the phone on WhatsApp with her friends and talking to the whole world except her husband. And the husband is talking to all his friends on planet Earth from different parts of the world, from the north, south, east, and the west. And the person's in his house, he has no time to talk to her. So this really creates a lot of problems in marital relationships as well. In summary, marriage is a great act of ibadah. And it's the basis, a good, prosperous, successful, happy marriage is a means of peace, it's a means of tranquility, it's a means of goodness at home, it's a means of goodness in the community, but it requires effort, it requires time. It's not just about getting married and that's it, it's going to happen automatically. Nothing happens automatically. We think that we just get married and that's it, we've done our job. No, this is a lifetime commitment. And it requires constant nurturing, constant, looking after. It's like a flower that you've grown. If you don't look after it, if you don't water it, a plant that you've grown, if you don't water it, if you don't look after it, it's going to die. And likewise, if you don't water the marriage, if you don't nurture it, if you don't give attention to it, then the marriage will die. And this is the responsibility of all the Muslims and all the married people to preserve this union of marriage, preserve this family system that we have, which is in the decline. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the ability to nurture our marriages and to able to follow in the footsteps of the Messenger sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and may Allah bring about goodness in our family lives, and may Allah make our children and our spouses the coolness of our eyes. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.